Welcome back to the show. So far, we've looked at whatever the investment options that we have in terms of stock markets, in terms of mutual funds, in terms of gold. Today, we look at it slightly differently. We want to see how to actually protect these investments that we make. We're joined by Dr. Amarnath, who's the CEO of Bharti AXA General Insurance. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We've looked at insurance in different things. Insurance as a tax-saving form is the most common form that we know of. In terms of general insurance, why should a person take insurance?
Very simple answer is insurance is based on the law of large numbers and is for protection. Unfortunately, what has happened in India is insurance is taken only for tax savings. Just to give you a very simple example, you talked about investments and various kinds of instruments. If something happens to me today, what happens to me? What happens to my family? If I don't have enough investments which happen over a period of time, I'm in lurch. That's where insurance really kicks in, and it's really for protection. And there are two examples we can talk about in more detail in terms of how health insurance and various formats of health insurance, as well as personal accident insurance, really help people in times of their dire needs.
Why are we just dependent on this whole phenomena of tax benefit insurance? Is it only because we want to save tax, or is it we are not aware of the rest of the insurance that we have?
I think my personal opinion right now in India is I think awareness about insurance is very low, which is obviously contributing to very low contribution of general insurance to overall GDP of India. If you look at the more developed markets, they're always in the high single digit at the very least, whereas if you look at India, is still less than 1%. And I think it's driven by the fact that awareness about insurance as a tool for protection is lacking.
Okay. Now, in terms of your general insurance, what are the different insurances that you cover under general insurance?
Let's talk about the basic medical insurance product. Right now, most people don't take medical insurance because they think they have enough cover from their offices. The question that comes up is, one, do they have enough cover? Two, what happens after the retirement? Three, what happens if they have a serious injury or a serious illness where the expenses of hospitalization are really high? So let's go by one by one and how Bharti AXA would try to mirror products to take care of these needs. In terms of your current, say, employer benefits, it may be for 1 lakh, it may be for 2 lakh. Which is very limited in the current context of, say, a very serious medical ailment. What we could do is take, say, a high deductible product from Bharti AXA, wherein, so you have your base cover, that continues as it is, but on top of that, for as cheap as 4 rupees a day, we could get cover up to 4 or 5 lakhs of rupees for incremental medical expenses in case of a serious health problem. In addition, what happens with your standard medical insurance product is that's a reimbursement product. So I go to hospital, there is a certain expenditure, that reimbursement comes through to me. But say, example, I have cancer or I have a heart attack and I forego loss of pay, can't go to work, especially if I'm self-employed. What happens? So we have another product which is again unique, covers 20 critical illnesses apart from the 2 that I mentioned, and it's called the critical illness plan. So say, for example, I get a heart attack. Right? I get, say, 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs, a fixed benefit, irrespective of hospitalization benefits or whether even if I get hospitalized.
I'm 25 or 26 years old. I work for a particular company, say a BPO or an infrastructure company or any other company. Right. I'm insured by my company. It insures me to a certain degree. Right. Now, should I wait for my actual retirement to actually take insurance, or are we saying that we can manage with both the insurance? Because when you go to a hospital, they ask you for one insurance card, they ask you for one kind of documentation. Or can I take both the benefits in this case?
Absolutely, you're right. I think to answer your question, the basics of medical insurance is the earlier you buy medical insurance, the cheaper it is. Obviously, there are age bands and pretty much up to 35, depending on the kind of the policy you have, the premium rates are lower, and after 40, obviously, they jump up. So the earlier you buy medical insurance, the better it is from a long-term perspective, because like you rightly mentioned, after retirement, your employer packages invariably go away. So if you're 25 or 26 and you want to have really cheap rates, I think that's the best time to buy insurance. Because if you are, say, 50 or 60 and you retire and you buy insurance, then one, it's very, very expensive. Two, you'll have to go through a lot of medical tests and you may not even be eligible to get medical insurance. So it absolutely makes sense for you to buy insurance then. To your point, if you buy, say, the high deductible product from Bharti AXA General Insurance Company, which is unique, you can actually get the benefits of both the products. So your first product that you may get from the employer or you have from other insurance companies could form the first layer, which could be the 1 lakh or the 2 lakh benefit. And this product could kick in terms of additional expenditure, say from a serious heart attack or sustained cancer treatment or any other, liver transplant, etc., that could cause expenditure to the person of more than, say, 1 lakh or 2 lakhs of rupees. So it could be on top of that, and it could be you could benefit from both the policies at the same time.
That's great. Dr. Amnath, now coming back to a fundamental question, let's take an example. If I have 1 lakh rupees today,
Yes.
now should I invest that in stock markets? Should I invest that mutual funds, gold, or should I invest in something which is actually depleting my income for my mindset?
So just to give an example, for a personal accident policy, which covers, say, death or disability in case of an accident, for say 1 rupee a premium, you could get up to 100 rupees of benefit. So in terms of how much should I buy, which is the right thing, I think in case of eventuality, whatever lifespan or life cycle you are in, you probably would need at least 6 or 7 years worth of your current salary, including all fringe benefits as protection. And the price, as I mentioned, say for a personal accident policy is very cheap, 1 rupee for 100 of benefit. So if you look at that, you can figure out how much of insurance protection do you need, because again, unfortunately, insurance is for the rainy day. It's not when everything is going great. If everything goes great, you don't need insurance. But unfortunately, way things are, like you mentioned about BPOs in one of the questions earlier, a lot of people lost their jobs last year. What happens to their medical benefits? Suppose I lose my job, unfortunately, and I'm 25-year-old, I go on a bike and meet with an accident. What happens to my hospitalized expenses? Not covered. So if I had invested all my funds in a mutual fund or any other investment, well, I would have to pull everything out and there'll be nothing left for me. Whereas if I have an insurance policy which pays me 1:100 ratio of personal accident, I don't have to pull out my investments, plus my medical expenditure and more can get covered from this amount, and I can easily go looking around for a job at my random pace.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amarnath, for your time. I hope to see you in this studio once more, say, in the next 6 months, giving us some more advice on something else.
Thanks.
Let's look at the ups and downs of the market this week. Reliance Industries announced another gas find in the KG Basin, off Andhra coast, its third successive discovery in this block. Indian companies paid 20% more advance tax for the July to September quarter, compared to last year by December 15 deadline, indicating strong profit growth. The fiscal year's quota of 65,000 H-1B visas to the US was filed ahead of time, and applications after 21st December may be rejected. According to the US Citizenship and Immigration Services, Indian companies applied for fewer visas this year compared to 2008-2009. Foreign direct investments inflows into India at $1.174 billion were up 60% for November 2009 compared to the same month last year. The much-awaited Santa rally cheered up the bourse this week, with the Sensex closing at 641 points higher at 17,360 points. A short break on the show now. When we get back, we chat with the chairman of Tulekha.com.